Union. Let's do that. Okay. Here we go. All right. Let's do a quick breakdown of all of the women at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13 reunion. First, who do you think is the best dressed? Put it down below in the comment box. Is it Erika, Sutton, Kyle, Garcelle, Kathy, Annemarie, Dorit, Crystal? Now, Annemarie is wearing the same outfit that Charisse wore from the Real Housewives of Potomac. Take with that what you will. But I'm going to do a quick prediction of all of the women from the show. So let's start with Erika. I think Erika looks great here. I do. I like her outfit. I don't know what was the theme of the night. I don't know. What, this jungle book? I don't know. Anyway, I think Erika looks good. I'm tired of Erika. The entire season of Erika's comeback narrative, like, miss me with it. She's no victim. This isn't a comeback for her. This is, in my opinion, a woman who benefited from blood money, continuing to benefit from blood money. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Erika, for me, can go away because I'm tired of compromising my own integrity and having to compartmentalize things. Because on one hand, I can't stand Erika for how she treated the victims, how she continued to victimize them, how she was so spiteful and vindictive going through the legal process to appeal over diamond rings she knew she would never get back. She just did it to prove a point. And to me, that's pretty evil. And I'm not down with that. I'm not with that. But then on the other hand, I actually think Erika can be a vibe. When she is hanging out with Garcelle and Sutton and she's being normal and she's funny and they're having a good time, it's a vibe. And I actually really enjoy them. So I'm tired of putting my integrity on the line with this chick. So she can go. Sutton. So Sutton is saying that the reason why she fainted and had tremors at the reunion had nothing to do with her drinking, because allegedly there is this sort of smear campaign against Sutton going on, saying that she was going through alcohol withdrawals. And that is why she, got, shaky and, fainty at the reunion, and she's in rehab and all this stuff. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second. I don't think that Sutton is in rehab. I don't think she's going through alcohol withdrawals. I think the whole Sutton is an alcoholic narrative came squarely from Kyle's camp, because Kyle was pissed that Sutton was talking about her marriage and her drinking and what's going on with Morgan and all of that stuff. So prayers goes out to Sutton. I hope she's okay. I hope, whatever reason, was it dehydration, whatever the case is, I hope she's okay. Having the shakes and being carted off in an ambulance, that's never fun. No matter how old you are, that's never good when it comes to health. I feel like this was Sutton's season. I think Kyle thought that Sutton was weak and she could take her down this season, but it turned out it was actually Sutton's season. I think Sutton became the HBIC of Beverly Hills. I think Garcelle is the anchor, but I think Sutton was the HBIC. It was her trip to Spain. Everything kind of revolved around her. I think she quickly became the HBIC. She went head to head with Kyle. And I think at the reunion, for as long as she's there before she gets sick, I think she's going to hold her own. I don't think that she fainted had anything to do with Kathy. I think Kathy and Sutton are fine. They're fine. Because at the end of the day, Sutton has real money and real coin, and I think that Kathy has real money and real coin. And I think that they hang out in similar circles. So I don't think that they're going to have a falling out like that. I think it's going to be like very society. Like, oh, hey, love. Oh, come over for tea and blah, blah, blah. And it's cool. I think Kathy and Sutton are fine. I don't think there's any type of beef there at all. At all. Oh, thank you so much, GGF, for the super sticker. That is so... Oh, that's so sweet. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really do. Now, with Sutton, do I think some of her storylines were I'm not going to say forced, but were they scripted? Yeah. But I think this entire season, all of the women's storylines were obviously scripted. I mean, obviously. I don't think any of these women were actually telling the truth. None of them. Erika, with her whole comeback tour, missed me with the bullshit. Missed me with all of that. That's why she brought Crystal to Vegas, because everything was teeing up for her big Vegas reveal. You know, and then her performing at the SoFi Stadium, you know, this was her comeback opening, this was her like prelude to her Vegas residency. All of that was fake and scripted. And you know why? Because Bravo NBC is the one producing her Bet on Blonde spinoff on Bravo. So of course they're going to use the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills as a built-in advertising and marketing machine for one of their shows because they want the money. So everything Erika did this season, everything from I'm not fighting with the women for Lent, was all scripted. It was all reputation rehab in order for Bravo and NBC to promote their spinoff, Bet on Blonde, and for her to promote her Vegas residency. So her entire storyline was scripted and fake and pre-produced. All of them are pre-produced. Sutton, I don't believe for 1 second, and I love you, Sutton, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe for 1 second you were distraught over your ex-husband going to London. I don't believe for 1 second you want to prove your independence to him. I don't believe for 1 second that you want to be, I am woman, hear me roar, and my businesses. And I think all of that was a cute little storyline for you. Because, and the reason why I say this is this, and this is just my opinion. So let me know if you guys resonate with it or you don't. Either way, it's cool. So, share. Just in my personal opinion, and I'm not being sexist, but I think for women, when you are still in it with your ex, and by in it, I mean you still hold a torch, or you haven't gotten 100% over the guy, or you still have something to prove to him. You talk about it all the time, unconsciously, because it's just always on your mind. You're not doing it on purpose. You have that friend who broke up with the guy a year ago, but every single time you see them, they are still talking about them like they're still together. Sutton has never, ever in the history of being on the show talked about her ex Christian in any way that would make you believe she still had any true emotional attachment to him, where she would be having these breakdowns like she's trying to have in Spain because he's moving away for work. And honest with you, when you have the type of money these people have, him moving to London is not that big of a deal. That's like, oh, fire up the jet and we'll just go. People with this type of money, Sutton, who bought a horse online. She bought a horse online. And you want me to believe she's concerned that her husband, who already travels internationally, that's why her psyche is crumbling because he's going to London? Miss me with the bullshit, Sutton. Miss me with it. Miss me with it. Like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think she's been over the divorce. I think she's been over it. But I think she used it for story. Merce, do I think that was sad for her? Sure, maybe it's her friend. Do I think it was as devastating as she put on? No. But I will tell you this. I am more willing to suspend my disbelief for the Merce and the husband and all of that stuff. It's fine. Do I think it meant something to her? Yes. As deep as she made it out? No. And even Kyle was like, I never heard of Merce, like in all this stuff. She just needed an excuse to go to Spain. But Kyle, you're not doing your job because you keep telling us how fake this show is. It's your job to pretend it's real. We know it's fake. We're not stupid. We know all of this stuff is fake. We know. But you're not supposed to tell us that, because the gag is the fun part of it. The escapism is that we get to pretend it's real. But when the main person, Kyle, keeps telling us it's fake, you're kind of letting the air out of the balloon, Kyle. We know it's fake. We know it's exaggerated. We know it's pre-produced. That's why they have producers. That's why we call them storylines. We know it's fake. We know it's scripted reality, but let us pretend it's real. Okay? But I think all of the women had very fakey stuff going on. But I still like Sutton. I do. She's one of my favorites on the show. Kyle, I don't even need to get into Kyle. I just spent an hour on her. Kyle, the whole thing was fake. Kyle, first of all, just be honest. You don't mess with Dorit because there's a part of you, whether it is true or not, but there's a part of you that believes she had some level, shout out to Bill Clinton, some level of sexual interaction with that woman, your husband. I think a part of Kyle has either confirmed it or she believes it. The level of affair or sex or flirtation or whatever between Dorit and Mauricio, I don't know. But I think in Kyle's heart, she believes some level happened. And that's why she's not messing with Dorit anymore. We needed to talk about that. She, in her whole text to Dorit, somebody said you said some stuff about me and it really, really hurt me. But I'm not going to tell you who or say what it was. That is manipulative. If you're going to come to me and be like, Candy, somebody said you said something so hurtful about me, so hurtful that I've ended our friendship. So hurtful, but I'm not going to tell you what they said, and I'm not going to tell you who said it. I'm going to be like, well, then shut the hell up and turn around, block my number, delete it, act like you never knew me before, and get out of my face. Because that is very, very manipulative, and it's also very emotionally abusive. If I'm saying as if I'm pretending like they're actually friends, because I don't think Dorit actually really cares for Kyle. I think she just pretended to care for Kyle. But say you really are friends with someone and someone says that to me, that's emotional abuse. Because if I care about this person and I love my friend and I'm like, you're no longer friends with me and you're saying somebody said something that I allegedly said, but you're not going to tell me what they said and you're not going to tell me who said it, but you're just going to not be my friend anymore. That's emotionally abusive and very, very manipulative. It could also be a lie. It could be a tactic to get the person to be like, oh, well, did this person say this? Well, this is what I meant and blah, 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 and get somebody to tell on themselves. So there's a lot going on there. I think Kyle's been lying for a long time about her relationship, about her marriage, about her friendships. I didn't believe anything that really came out of Kyle's mouth this season. Garcelle. Love Garcelle. But again, I think Garcelle was going through a lot emotionally and internally that she didn't share. I think we saw glimpses of it, but she didn't go to the root cause of it. This season for me with Garcelle, I love her, and she is the anchor of the show now. And by anchor, I mean the relationships are really rooted in Garcelle. The fact that she's best friends with Sutton, the fact that she made amends with Erika, the fact that she calls out Dorit and humbles the hell out of Dorit, where Dorit has to actually shut up for a second and reflect and, come back to her senses in her little bubble. Dorit can say whatever she wants, but Garcelle checked the hell out of her real quick. She gathered all of her edges to the point where Dorit got up and left Sutton's house, okay? Or Crystal's house. She's cool with Crystal, so Garcelle has really become that anchor. And we saw that. We saw it in a very pivotal scene where it's Garcelle and Erika and they're drinking and they're having fun and it's a kiki. And she's like, oh, and here's my friend, Sutton. And then they all kind of come together and she's like, this is the new trio. I love this little social experiment. And then ever since then, Garcelle and Sutton and Erika are very cool. We saw it in Spain, even on the bus. Erika's like, I know Sutton's the best and I know her better than you. And Garcelle's like, okay, like they're doing all of that stuff. They've been aces ever since. So Garcelle is now the anchor of this show, where it's where do you stand with Garcelle is meaningful and relevant, where it used to be where do you stand with Kyle was meaningful and relevant. But when it comes to Garcelle, I love her. She's great, but this season was too much about her children. It was too much. And I personally felt uncomfortable. Maybe I'm prude, but I didn't want to see 15-year-olds about are they having sex or are they not having sex every other scene. Maybe I'm prude, maybe I'm conservative. I don't know, but anytime people are talking about underage sex, I don't like it. It's weird to me, it's bizarre. Maybe it can be teachable moments. I don't want it though. Not I don't know, it's just not for me. It's not for me. It can be a moment, but not every scene you have is with your children and talking about your 15-year-old's sex life and not wanting to be a grandmother. That's just me. That's just me. I do love seeing her and her family, of course. I do love seeing her and her beautiful boys, of course. But I would have loved to see Garcelle be Garcelle, the woman, not just Garcelle, the mom. I want to see her. Why is she dating? Why is she not dating? You know, her having dinner and going out with like her friends or other people and talking about what her life looks like now and what she's dealing with. Like for example, in Spain, when she kind of teared up and she's like, I do want a relationship, but I'm being very, careful because I want the right person. I've had abandonment issues with my father, and then my ex-husband cheated on me, and that really hurt. And, I'm okay with being alone until I find the right person. Like when she was saying all that, I was like, I wanted this all season because I think as adults, that is what we can really connect with, you know? How do you trust after your husband cheats on you in a public way? How do you trust when your father abandoned you and you're still holding on to that? How do you trust when you don't know what people do? They want to date me because I'm famous? Do they want to date me because I have money? Do they want to date, like how do you navigate coming back to self after all of these things? How do you navigate being, a woman? And how do you navigate being, a lover or a girlfriend or a wife after being in mommy? Like, I would have loved to see more of Garcelle, the woman, because we see her as mom and we see her as boss. But I want to see her as her because she's so interesting. And then I wanted her to dive more into like, well, I've thought about dating a woman, she's like, I haven't done it yet, but just falling in love with the person. To me, that was way more genuine than any of this fake performative stuff Kyle and Morgan are doing. Way more genuine when she was just like, I've thought about, what would it be like to be with a woman and just falling in love with the person? Like, I understand that. Could she explore that? Like, that to me would have been such a vibe. Such a vibe. But I feel like she was in a vulnerable position. And I feel like all of these women were, whether I, rock with them or not. I feel like as women, and I said this before, they all seemed sad. All of the women. Erika seemed sad. Sutton seemed sad. Even Crystal seemed sad. And I'm not sure why Crystal's sad, but she even seemed sad. They all just seemed sad. And just not in a very joyful, happy place. And I think that she covered a lot of that through the showing of her children, if that makes sense. Okay, now let's talk about, and thank you so much, DGF, and thank you so much, Tay Tay. I appreciate you both. Okay, now let's talk about Crystal. Crystal got activated this season. She definitely got activated, which I was definitely here for. I wanted to see more of that. Again, I don't know if it's Crystal only being activated in certain moments with like Annemarie and things like that, or if it's production sort of cutting it out. And actually at this point, I think it's production cutting it out because what we did get from Crystal was actually really fun. Like her and Rob being like, I think it was Morgan's camp who did it, and all of that stuff. And Crystal having more of an opinion, but then she kind of fell flat when she would be directly called out. When Dorit was like, well, what did you say about, Sutton and the vodka in the morning? And she's like, oh, well, I want to get it right and all this stuff. And it's just like, no, Crystal, like, just speak the truth. You told Sutton the truth. Dorit did say that Sutton's the type of person to put vodka in her coffee in the morning. And then Dorit came out and said, yeah, I said that because I was basically being Kyle's mouthpiece. Dorit, she said it. She's like, yeah, I was defending Kyle. Kyle kind of put me up to it, and I said it. But Crystal kind of crumbled in that moment, and so I need Crystal to be more consistent. Do I think Crystal said that the women were uneducated and fake socialites and all of that stuff? Yeah. Do I care that she said it? No. Who cares? Who cares Crystal said that? I don't think that's so much of a big deal. I would have liked if Crystal would have said, yeah, I probably said something like that, and I said what I said. Then I would have been like, I so respect you, Crystal, because I do think she said something like that. Do I think Annemarie probably twisted it and took it out of context and weaponized it? 100%. Do I think Crystal said it to Annemarie? No. I think Annemarie may have been in the room or heard, but I don't think Crystal said it to her. Anyway, I think Crystal could come back next season as a friend of, but I need her to step it up. Keep the energy up. Stay in I said what I said mode. Don't fall back and blush and flunder. And throw lavish parties. I want to see your wealth. You're married to a Disney exec. You have your own coconut company. Your family has money. You said your brother was basically like a Justin Bieber, K-pop star. Clearly, you guys have some coins. I want to see it. Crystal, I need you to dress better. I said what I said. I need Crystal to bring it when it comes to dressing and makeup and glam. Step it up, boo-boo. Step it up. And I need you to step up with showing off your wealth. And I mean that. I want you to be shameless with it, because that's what I want in these shows. Everything has its place, right? And over here with the Candy Canes, we are emotionally and mentally intelligent. So we understand that everything has its place and that there are nuance to things. So when it comes to a show like The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I want you to be shameless with your wealth, as long as it's legitimate. Obviously, I'm tired of the fraudsters, the Erika Janes and the Jen Shaws. I'm not talking about them. They all need to go to jail and stay there forever. I mean, if you have legitimate money, clean money, I want you to be shameless with it. Shameless. I want you to drip diamonds. I want you to drink champagne for breakfast. I want you to be shameless with it. I don't want you to be relatable, negative Nancy, no money Monica over in Salt Lake City. I don't want a relatable housewife. I don't want Gina and her casita. I'm sorry. I don't want a relatable housewife. I will get that other places. I will get relatability other places, but not on my housewives. I don't watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to relate to these women. That's not the point of the show. I don't want relatability. I want escapism. I want affluence. I want you to drip in fur, vintage or fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want it dripping and doing all of the things. So you need to bring it all the way. All the way. Okay? Kathy, I love you, but your presence needs to make sense. I feel it's going just to be a therapy session with you and Kyle. We could have missed this. This could have been an email. You know what I'm saying? This could have been an email, Kathy. And I like you, Kathy, but you weren't on the show. So why do you hold position at the reunion? If it's just you and Kyle having a therapy session, I don't need it. I don't need it. It's like that meme going around. This is a complete side note, and I want to find this man. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. There's this man on some show. I think it's the Karame Brown show or Karame Brown, whatever the hell his name is. Anyway, there's this guy in this show, and it's like this meme going around on Instagram and TikTok, and the guy's like crying. It's like a talk show or something, and he's crying, and he's like, "I don't want it. I don't want it. Take me off. Cut the show. I'm done. I don't want it." Anyway, that makes me laugh all of the time. I just went down a complete rabbit hole tangent. Anyway, I said all that to say this. Kathy, cut the show. I don't want it. If it's only going to be you and Kyle having a therapy session. That was not what this season was even about. It wasn't. And you weren't on the show. So why are you having a therapy session with her? I get it. You're going to promote Paris in Love. I get it. You're going to promote probably some projects you have with NBC and Bravo. I don't need it. I don't want it. To me, this is lazy. This is stunt. I don't get it. It makes zero sense. I don't think, and I also don't think for 1 second that Kathy is the reason why Sutton faints. I think that is stunt editing in the trailer. I don't think it has anything to do with Kathy and Sutton. I think Kathy and Sutton are completely fine. I think they're cool gang. They're fine. So hopefully it's entertaining. Hopefully it gives something, but I don't want it. Karame Brown. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Candy Cane Girl. And thank you so much for being a channel member. I really appreciate that. Yes, Karame Brown, when the guy, he's like, I don't want it. Take me off. Cut the show. I want to reach out to that man. I need to find him some way and just be like, I want to thank you and apologize because I have gotten so much entertainment and laughs out of your pain. Because this man is clearly in some like emotional pain. Like he is crying, he is in it. Something to do with like his father being absent, and the father to me is very narcissistic and cold. And the son is clearly in pain. But the way he talks and the way anyway, let me get back to this, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Now, Annemarie. Annemarie, she better be a one and done. She better be a one and done. It's too much. I heard that Bravo edited out, I believe it's Crystal, Kyle, and Erika were coming for Annemarie, maybe Garcelle too, for the transphobic comments that her and her husband, or just her husband, one of the two, allegedly said, and that Bravo cut it out. I get why Bravo would cut it out because I think they're trying not to get too dark or too deep like before. And I guess if it wasn't brought up on the show, but I'm also kind of like, let the chips fall where they may. If you're trying to put this woman on the show and introduce us to our lives through the show, then you need to show the good, the bad, the ugly. You need to show all of it. So I don't know if we're going to see it, if that rumor is true or not, but I would like to see them confront her about it. You know, whether you agree with the comments or not, I would like to see where she lands on it. I said this before, and I mean this respectfully, not in a derogatory, disrespectful way at all, by any means. I think I think Annemarie has some sort of tick, some sort of social spectrum, not getting cues. I think there's an actual tick with her. I think something's not all firing. Like she will say something out of her mouth, like Sutton has an eating disorder. And then literally the next second be like, I never said that. You said that. I never said that. I don't think she's lying. I think that there is something actually ticky boom. Like there's something not connecting with her. And I think she has very, very low self-esteem. You know, the fact that she said, oh, my husband says I'm an 8.5 across the board and I'm proud of that. But then when I ask all my friends about it, they're like, what? Like, that's not good and all this stuff and how. And I think when she says to Crystal or someone, you're acting like a hormonal teenager, I was like, that's probably what your husband calls you anytime you have a normal human reaction. And again, this is just my opinion, but given her husband and the allegations against him and the personality we've seen, given her personality and disposition, I feel like Annemarie, and even what she said in Spain, how she wants to work on herself and actually be happy and all that stuff, even though I don't rock with her, she's not my cup of tea. I personally don't like her personality. I don't like her energy. She's not my personal cup of tea in that particular way. Nothing against her by any means. I don't know her. But I just mean like in that way, I don't vibe with her. But again, from a human standpoint and a woman-to-woman standpoint, I think she is in deep denial about who she married. Not an unawareness. I think she knows exactly who she married. But I think she's in deep denial about it, if that makes sense. Like you can know who somebody is, but I think she's deluded herself. I think she's drinking the Kool-Aid. I think that he has probably really worked on her self-esteem, her sense of self. I think she has very, very low self-esteem. And I think he knew that. And that's why he targeted her. you know? And I don't know if you guys are watching the after show, but she was talking about how her mother essentially abandoned her and gave her up for adoption, and it was a closed adoption. And the mother was like, I can't give you the life you deserve, but don't ever contact me. I don't want any contact. And so she did some sort of like, genetic testing, and she found out she had like an aunt. And so she messaged the aunt and was like, hi, like, I was adopted around this time. Like, do you know my mom? And the person just like blocked her and like never responded, which is heartbreaking. But I think that kind of gives some perspective and context to how Annemarie is. And I do think that there is some type of misfiring going on with her. I don't think she picks up on social cues. I think she has very low self esteem. I think she has the abandonment wounds going on. And this is not to excuse her behavior, because I think the way she treated Sutton was horrible. I think the way she treated Crystal was horrible. But I also think she was played by Kyle. I think Kyle also was like, this is a person who seeks validation and approval. This is a person who wants to please me. And so Kyle wound her up and was like, go after Sutton, go after Sutton, go after Crystal, go after Crystal. Because those are two people that Kyle don't really like or mess with. And those are the two people she targeted. But then all of a sudden, Kyle was like, I don't know her. I met her once. Right? Oh, I didn't tell her to do my dirty work. Well, Kyle, we saw you. We saw you. You were at your house talking to her about the esophagus, and Annemarie was like, "Oh, that doesn't make sense. Does she have a sphincter and all this other stuff?" Well, I'm gonna have to talk to her about this. You never once said, "Hey, Annemarie, that's kind of weird. Don't say anything. It's not that serious or deep." You were like, "Yeah." You were egging her on, and Annemarie wanted to be your yes person, so she would have an ally on the show, and she would have cover on the show. And also, I think her personality seeks outside validation. I'm not saying it excuses her behavior, because how she acted was crazy. And then doubling down on anesthesiologists and the nurses and the RNs and the doctors and the yada, 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 all that crap. But I think it kind of puts in context a little bit of how she is. And to be honest with you, I kind of feel bad for her. I do. I feel bad for because I don't think it's all 100% there. I personally don't rock with her. She would not be a person that I personally would befriend or want to be around, because even though I think that there's a tick missing, people who say things and then say they didn't say it, people who carry bones, people who lie, people who speak weird stuff as if it's fact about the doctors and all that, those are very dangerous people. Whether she means to or not, that's a very dangerous person to be around. So for me, I wouldn't rock with her personally. I think this could be a one and done. I don't think we need her back. I don't need to see anything else about her. Also, with the allegations against her husband, if you guys don't know, trigger warning, do a Google search about the allegations of how he may or may not have sexually taken advantage of women without their consent, if you understand what I'm saying. Multiple women, just Google it. I personally think she doesn't need to come back. I don't want to see it. And I don't think she added anything to the show. Like, if she doesn't come back, I don't consider that a loss. Dorit. What is going on with this outfit, Dorit? I'm confused. I personally am not Islam or Muslim. I hope I'm saying the correct terms. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. So I don't know if the hijab, if I mispronounce it, if I'm saying it incorrectly, I apologize. I don't mean to be, if I'm ignorant, I apologize. I don't know if that's cosplay with what she's wearing here. I don't know if that would be offensive or disrespectful to people's lifestyles and religions and all. I don't know, because that's not my culture. So I don't know. Is this cosplaying? Is this, I don't know. I don't know. But all I have to say is when I saw this outfit, I felt a little type of way. It kind of gave me the ick. And it's not even my culture. It's not my religion at all. I'm Black and I'm Christian. So it's not my religion. But I felt some type of way looking at this outfit for her. I was like, is this okay? Like, what are we doing, Dorit? Other than that, and people sound off about it, people who have much more knowledge about it, because I don't. So I don't know if that's offensive or not because it's not my culture. But I felt like, what in the what is going on with this outfit? When it comes to Ding Dong Dorit, beside that, this to me also could be Dorit's last season. I don't, she's not giving anything. She milked the PTSD so long and so far that even PK was like, this doesn't make any sense. You seem a little bit delusional, babe. I'm going to be over here in London doing my thing. See you when I see ya. Like even PK was like, stop lying. Even PK was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this fakeness. The PTSD storyline was played out and exploitative and rude to people who truly do have PTSD. Because Dorit, girl, stop. You couldn't go to Sutton's boutique event in West Hollywood, but you had no problem busting it open in Vegas for Magic Mike. Now, I know people have different triggers. I know trauma hits different. I know that different things, but you can't be like, I need to know exactly how many people are going to be there, what my surroundings are for your boutique in West Hollywood. But I'm going to go to Vegas and bust it open every single night for Magic Mike and Erika and not flinch. I didn't see her have a single PTSD episode with that. Not Nan one. So I didn't see not Nan PT episode in Spain. Not Nan one. So I don't know what's going on with that one. I don't know what to tell you. She doesn't have a storyline. She no longer has Kyle for cover. And she's just and the whole thing with her and Garcelle, honestly, I'm happy it happened in the sense that it's showing people how it feels to deal with microaggressions, with institutionalized biases and unconscious racism and biases. Because do I think that Dorit herself is like, hi, my name is Dorit Kimsley and I am a racist? No. Do I think she has institutionalized, insidious, and unconscious biases? 100%. Her tone with Garcelle is different than her tone with the other women. She puts a little bass in it. She yells, she condescends, she talks down. Oh, I have help who's black and brown. My mother's best friend is black and blah, 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 blah. Garcelle this, Garcelle that, and da, 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 and you're attacking me. It's like, girl, stop. And then being such a Karen and with her white fragility, how dare you say that you don't feel safe with your kids around us, Garcelle? How dare you? Well, because you guys were cussing out her children and her child was cyberbullied. Of course she doesn't feel safe and laughing at her children and then being like, oh, Erika and all this stuff. And Garcelle made the great point that I made before. She was like, I'm not allowed to feel some type of way about the physical and mental and emotional safety of my children in this group after everything that's happened, both on camera and off camera. But yet you still get to claim PTSD a year and a half after an alleged robbery that you made $2.3 million off of insurance money, just enough to pay off your husband's gambling debt. But I'm not supposed to feel some type of way about the safety of my children's well-being. Girl, bye. And Garcelle, I hope you stay on Dorit's neck every chance you get this reunion. Because as we see, Ding Dong Dorit is fighting for that diamond and has learned nothing and is still trying to come for Garcelle. PSA, Dorit, that angle ain't gonna work for you. It ain't gonna work. You trying to attack Garcelle will never land. Will never land. And the people who identify with you, Dorit, are the people who have their own insidious, institutionalized racism and biases. And instead of saying, well, because I identify with Dorit, maybe I should look at myself. They want to say, oh, everybody's making it about race. Why can't you say a black woman's angry? You're being too sensitive. No, No, you're doubling down on your own unconscious, or maybe it's conscious, who the hell knows at this point, racism and biases because it makes you comfortable. And you don't want to be uncomfortable in your own awareness and who you are. And it takes a very self-actualized, emotionally intelligent person to look at themselves. I'll give you a personal example of myself where I had to check myself. So I was at my friend's wedding. This was a couple years ago. I was at my friend's wedding and a bunch of our friends were together, and one of my good guy friends is gay. I'm not gay, I'm straight. I consider myself an ally, but I am a straight woman. And one of my good guy friends is gay. And we were talking about something. And I made some remark or some joke about the airline attendants who were male, about like them most likely being gay or something like that. I forgot exactly what I said. I meant no harm by it. I meant no ill will, no evil, no homophobia, nothing. I didn't mean anything by it. And it wasn't a joke. I think I said something, but I think in what I was saying was a stereotype that male flight attendants are gay. It was something like that. And I could see the look on my friend's face that the comment I said was hurtful to him. Was not my intention. I am not homophobic by any means. It was not my intention at all to hurt him or to be mean or to anything. I just said something regurgitating some type of stereotype that I had picked up from somewhere, but when I saw that what I said hurt him, the next day I took him aside and I said, "Hey, I made this comment and I saw the look on your face and I know what I said hurt you. And I am so sorry." I don't want to get choked up thinking about it because it makes me sad every time I think about it. But I looked at him and I was like, "I know what I said was hurtful to you. It was not my intention. And I don't know what it feels like to be gay, lesbian, trans, whatever it is, LGBTQI in this world. I don't know what that is. And I am so sorry that I hurt you." And he looked so relieved, and he was just like, "No, Candy, like, I know you didn't mean it, but, like, it is a stereotype and all this stuff," and, like, we hugged it out and everything's fine and we're still super close. But what I tell you that story because we need, all of us, to start checking ourselves. Because that's the only way anything is gonna change, is when we are brave enough to be uncomfortable in our own skin. When we are brave enough to acknowledge, "You know what? I was out of line. I was out of pocket. It's not my heart. It's not my intention, but that doesn't mean that the effect isn't dangerous or negative on someone." So for the people who are like, just stop it. Stop it. I know it's not my candy canes. My candy canes, you guys are amazing and smart and brilliant and loving and self-aware. Not you guys. I'm talking about the other weirdos out there where it's like we all have to get to the point to look in the mirror and say, "Well, what are my own unconscious biases? What are my own unconscious isms that I hold? Where am I not in alignment with my heart and my words and my actions?" So that's why I shared that story with you guys, because it's okay to not be perfect. And it's okay to admit, I just said something that was really messed up. And I am so sorry for that. And I think if Dorit would have just done that, it would have been a completely different situation. But instead, she has to be like, "Well, I'm Jewish. Well, I didn't mean that, Garcelle. Well, blah, 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 blah. And blah, 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 blah." And it's just like, stop it. Like, I could have easily said to my friend, "Well, yeah, you're gay, but I'm black." I could have easily said that to him. "Oh, don't be so offended by what I said. You're gay, but I'm black." I could have easily done that, which is what Dorit did. "Oh, Garcelle, you're black, but I'm Jewish." That's what she did. But that's what we have to stop that. And that's what Dorit does. She is a Karen and she gaslights you into thinking that your feelings are invalid and that you're crazy and how dare you question her. So ding dong Dorit, I'm going to need you to exit stage left. We're done with you. Your grift is over. Bye-bye. And you can keep those text messages that Kyle sent you, because to be honest with you, I would take Kyle over you any day. And that is saying a lot. You betrayed Kyle. Now you're trying to make it like she's some master manipulator silencer. When to me, the text messages was basically like, look, we haven't been rocking. We've been lying all season. Let's just get through tomorrow. That's basically what Kyle was saying to her. Let's just get through tomorrow, chick. I got enough on my plate. But the problem was, Dorit had nothing on her plate other than being, racial microaggressions against Garcelle, fake PTSD that even her husband called her out on. Other than that, what does Ding Dong Dorit have on her plate? Nothing. Dorit was like, well, now I got something. So miss me with her. So I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. First, the fashions. What do you think about their fashions? What do you think about what they're wearing? And then also, what do you think about all of their storylines for this season? Did you believe them? Were you invested? Who do you want to come back next season? Who do you not want to come back next season? And what do you think about the reunion? I think the reunion is going to be good. I think it's going to be juicy. But again, I don't think it's going to be satisfying, because the elephant in the room, at least for me, is the rumor about Dorit and Mauricio. And that's clearly never going to be addressed. So we're never going to get true closure on this, right? So let me know what